Hello and welcome to Special Dialogue with me, Siska Becker. Today I have a very special guest. He is Professor Wang Yiwei, the director of the Institute of International Affairs from Renmin University of China. Good day, Professor. Ni hao.
Thank you for having me here.
Of course, it's truly a pleasure, and I would like to say welcome back to Jakarta. I understand this is not your first visit to our capital.
Yes, I visit before the whoosh and after the whoosh. So witness the Indonesia whoosh, rising takeoff for the economy.
Okay, we are very excited indeed to learn from you about the Chinese perspective of Indonesia's and China's relations, about the dynamics, about future potentials, and of course, what does it mean to have the BRI development happening right here in Indonesia. But before we delve into all those details, may I first get your general assessment of the relationship between our countries? As you know, we've had a long and warm relationship for 73 years. China is now undoubtedly one of Indonesia's most strategic partners in the world. China is the biggest trading and economic partners to Indonesia. We have collaborated in a mega project, the KCIC, the first bullet train in Southeast Asia. And you can say that right now, business is booming between our countries. But according to your expertise and knowledge, how would you see the relationship between our countries right now in 2023?
10 years ago, when President Xi Jinping visited Jakarta, put forward the 21st century maritime Silk Road. The key word is 21st century. What's that meaning? Right?
Yes.
It's not a traditional 郑和 cultural exchange and trade, but it's about more about the future, about 21st century.
Okay.
And Indonesia is a symbol of 21st century in this regard, because Indonesia has the fourth largest populous in the world, right? Very dynamic. 13,000 islands definitely need mutually connected each other. And very young dynamic population, which is not just for the build the highway, high-speed railway, but also data. Digitalization need young people.
Yeah.
Because to use the data, I think that's a very bright future. So emerging economy, you also have the global maritime hub strategy.
Okay.
So 21st century is a maritime century. 21st century maybe is emerging economy century. So that's the reason I think President Xi put forward the 21st century maritime circular road in Indonesia. So that's a very strong signal. Our relations can trace back to even before Tang Dynasty, some people say, because when the President Xi, the first Belt Road Summit, 2017 keynote speech, he mentioned the museum in Indonesia. This, in Chinese, we say this black stone is a ship sank and discovered by the British. And there's the tens of the thousands porcelains in the Tang Dynasty. So the 1,500 years ago.
Yes.
So our trade relations and mutual connectivities, it's a long history. And,
yes, indeed.
In modern times, of course, China, Indonesia, and other ASEAN countries, dependent from defeated the colonialism, and I think that support each other. That's very important. Also, many Chinese also work in Indonesia and learn from Indonesia and benefit. Now, the opening reform, we cooperate with the ASEAN, so ASEAN number one trade partner for China. And Indonesia is the leading country. The ASEAN Secretary General located in Jakarta, right?
Yes.
Why we emphasize relations with Indonesia? Because like this KVIV shows, half of the population nearly of the ASEAN is in Indonesia.
Yes.
And that's the half of the population of the Indonesia in Jakarta Island.
Yes.
The largest city, your capital, Jakarta, to the fourth populous city, Bangkok, connect each other. It's like China, Beijing to Tianjin, similar on the 142 kilometers, similar to that stance. And then if maybe in the future extend to your second largest city,
in Surabaya.
Surabaya,
yes.
And then, perfect, like China, Tianjin, Beijing,
Okay.
Tianjin, and Shanghai.
Okay.
So this, I think that the reason, most dynamic and young populations, and then that's the future. So that's the reason
Okay.
we pay high attention to the relations with Indonesia, with ASEAN.
Yes.
And the most important, I think, now in today's world, only 2 countries which has high-speed railway over 350 kilometers per hour.
Yes.
That's Indonesia and China.
Wow.
So we are 2 superpowers in the high-speed railway in today's world.
Yes.
Our trains, is 3 times faster than the U.S.
Professor Wang, it's really encouraging to hear that not only China is Indonesia's strategic partner, but Indonesia is also a very strategic partner to China. Now, to talk more about the high-speed train between Jakarta and Bandung, the jewel and pride of our country's collaboration, what does it entail actually for Indonesia to be a part of the Belt and Road Initiative by China, which was initiated by President Xi Jinping in 2013. And now in 2023, we are finally seeing the implementation of that project right here. What does it mean for Indonesia to be part of it, Professor?
This is a win-win project, definitely. And also, it's a high-speed railway. Not like China law, it's not high-speed railway because high mountains
Okay.
are difficult. Why it's called win-win? First, China. What China can benefit from this
Yes.
train? Usually, a new train, a new port, 15 years, 20 years, not make money. That's the reason private capital, not interest.
Okay.
That's the reason the United States, even the infrastructure very old,
Yeah.
because private they want to make profits every year, in short term, and the so-called is hot money.
Okay.
They make bubbles, global financial crisis, Eastern Asia financial crisis. That's private capital driven, so-called the Washington consensus. So many countries suffered a lot from with shortage or poor infrastructure.
Okay. Okay.
China, we benefited from the infrastructure building.
Yeah.
There is a saying in Chinese people, they say, if we want to get rich, build the road. If we want to get rich quickly, build the motor road. Fast road.
Okay.
If you want to get rich immediately,
Yeah.
build the internet road. So
Okay.
Alibaba, e-commerce, all this.
All right.
But if you want to get rich jointly,
Yeah.
connect the roads, connect to cities,
Okay.
which can, the train sell the tickets, not make money easily,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But when the 2 cities connect each other, there's the real estate, the tourists, all the industries, the cluster of the industries will boom.
Yes.
So when the China Commercial Limited, when China development banks finance these projects majorly, and other banks as well,
Okay.
they have the fully fruitful experience in China. So in financing to connected to cities, and then tourists and other industries, they earn money from the industrial of the realization of this area, not just from the ticket they sell.
Okay.
So China will make money.
Yes.
That's the reason the companies will invest.
Yeah.
Otherwise, no companies interested in doing so.
Okay.
But it's long term. Now I heard, originally we designed because it's a joint venture. It's
Okay.
50 years designing for the
Yeah.
interest. But now because of the difficulties, global financial crisis, the Chinese economic difficulty,
Yeah.
Indonesia maybe also have some difficulties, renegotiated, extended to 80 years.
Oh, okay.
So and then the interest rate will decrease. So this is mutually negotiated according to the market requirement or new environment.
All right. Professor, we've gained a lot of insights already in the first part of our conversation. And when we talk about Indonesia and China's relationship and the success story, we talk about Whoosh train. But actually that is not the first successful clean energy transportation project between China and Indonesia. We're going to talk about that after the break. We're going to take a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Special Dialogue on TVRI World with me, Siska Becker, and my very special guest, Professor Wang. If you remember, back in 2020 at the G20 presidency of Indonesia, there was around 300 electronic vehicle operating in Bali that was used to serve the delegations. And those electronic vehicles were Wuling from China. So another clean energy initiative that prove as both of our countries' commitment to pursue the ambition of providing clean energy technology to the world.
As I mentioned, 21st century maritime circular, to the keyword 21st century. 21st century is a neutrality of the emission of CO2 because global warming, extreme weather, even people think about maybe the COVID also some connectivity with the global warming.
Yeah.
Okay, so we should have the leap forward development.
Yeah.
Not just polluted industrialization, pollution, and then sell the pollution. It costs lots of money.
Yeah.
So China actually, we learn from history. 1840, we defeated by the Great Britain and the Opium War.
Yes.
Because this is industrial civilization. China traditionally agricultural civilization.
Okay.
But now what happened? Digitalization.
Yeah.
So digital civilization is a new version, new industrialization. So Chinese people, embrace of this revolution so much because we learn from the history of that. That's the future. That's the reason we say Indonesia have the bright future because they're very young, dynamic people. Data you should use by the young people.
Yeah.
Old people don't use so much data.
Okay.
Chinese people you see, my students, if you go to the university, restaurants or the cafeterias, the people, eat chopstick, and the left hand, they're still, learning with cell phone. So digitalization is very popular in China, particularly after the COVID. People keep distance and then just buy the foods from distance and then jumping. So low carbon technology, I think that's very important.
Okay.
Think about the KVIC. Why people complain, the price is more expensive, the ticket is maybe more expensive than China. Why? Because electricity price, double of China's price.
Oh, okay.
So in China, the electricity now is very cheap because, so many, new energy and people. So it takes time. So green technology, low carbon energy, and digitalization, and maritime cooperation. I think that's the future of our the Belt and Road Cooperation.
Yeah. Okay. So 2022 G20 presidency of Indonesia with Wuling, 2023 with KCIC and the Whoosh train, all success stories. How could Indonesia ensure that we are not too codependent on China? And as you know, we've heard a lot of naysayers about the BRI being a debt trap to all the countries that work together with China. I would love to get your explanation and your perspective about this issue.
Okay, these are very popular criticisms from not just from Indonesia, from India, from the West medias, and the different projects as well. Okay, first about dependency. Maybe the criticisms, the reason is criticism is because this just work with Chinese companies, right? The Whoosh.
Yeah.
If Japanese or other high-speed railway companies jointly, maybe it's not just dependent on single country, right?
Yeah.
But everything done by the commercial principles in the market negotiation. Chinese companies win this bid, defeated the Japanese. Why? Because we can pay the costs lower than quality. For instance, Chinese high-speed railway, we learn from Japan, France, Germany, Canada, many. Okay, but the synergies strategy, because the Chinese market is so huge.
Okay.
We have 1.4 billion people, and 42,000 kilometers high-speed railway. So now the Chinese high-speed rail is double faster than 2 times faster than Japanese Shinkan.
Okay.
So you also can you imagine? So this China is not just have so advanced technology standard. Everything technology is China dependent. China has the most independent categories of the industry systems according to the UN system.
Yeah.
So that's everything made and constructed jointly with China. The price lowest, most efficient in doing so.
Okay.
So that's reason we have 40% of the, and you have the 60%
Yes.
of this share, right? It's a joint venture.
Okay.
Why you choose Chinese companies and not Japanese companies,
Yeah.
okay?
Okay.
So this is a joint venture. It's not you depends on China, or China also depends on you.
Okay.
So that's it's a share risk, share responsible. So it's not independent, okay?
Okay.
And then the train is running in your country.
Yes.
And according to your law, no one, as this puts the China's, this is Chinese, this is Indonesia passengers. It's
Yeah.
not the Chinese soldiers, huh? Why you say this is independent to China?
Yeah.
This is maybe misunderstanding of that, okay?
All right.
Second, about the debt trap. Debt, definitely. China, at the beginning, we built so many highway,
Yeah.
high-speed railway. As I mentioned, high-speed railway usually 15 years, 20 years, not to make money by selling the ticket.
Okay.
But why China built 42,000 kilometers of high-speed railway?
Yeah.
We are not stupid. we not just benefit from the tickets that we sell.
Okay.
We are benefited from two cities connect each other, as I mentioned, tourism and real estate and all other industries.
Yeah.
The so-called cluster of the industries will boom. China lift the poverty. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
7,700 million.
Wow.
Contributed more than 70% of the whole world.
Okay.
So half of the Chinese people live the poverty just in a short period of the 40 years, opening and reform. If you visit the Hunan province, there's a for high mountain, people live in very absolute poverty. But now have the high-speed railway, so more tourists to go to buy the products, goods, and then economic boom. So that's reason, I think, our experience. So debt, yes, but not trap.
Okay.
If you think about it, there's a trap. 152 countries that volunteer to sign MOU with China, jointly build the BRI.
Yeah.
Huh? It's like the Singapore scholar, very famous, Kishimoto,
Okay.
Kisubabani. He said, if you think this is a trap, this is humiliation saying about those countries. They're very clever. Huh? They
Okay.
make their decision.
Yeah.
But they say this is a trap.
Okay.
Okay, so the need to understand that developing financing projects, if this happened in China, why not successfully also
Yeah.
in Indonesia, in other countries as well? So debt, yes, but not trap. I give you the chicken. This is the chicken.
Okay.
The chicken, if you eat, cook with the soup,
Yeah.
and then you own debt. But this chicken, high-speed railway, whoosh, is to want to have the eggs.
Yes.
The eggs produce more chickens, and then
Okay.
you pay back of the debt.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's China experience, opening
Okay.
and reform. So debt, yes, but in the future,
Yeah.
solve the debt problem, not call more debts. So
Yeah.
that's the misunderstanding.
Okay, thank you so much for that explanation. Okay, Professor Wang, we've learned a lot about the current relationship of Indonesia and China. In the next segment, I would love to get your opinion about the future projects between Indonesia and China. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Back on Special Dialogue with me, Siska Becker, and my special guest, Professor Wang, who's been really insightful so far with tidbits, insights, and a lot of interesting information. But maybe if we can go back a little bit in history, because as we know, the BRI is actually a modern version of the original Silk Road that was so famous back in the day. A lot of Chinese merchants and traders bought cloves from Indonesia. Now, if you go back at that time, it was only cloves. But now in 2023, of course, Indonesia offers a lot of natural resources. How do you think this will affect the relationship with Indonesia, especially concerning the BRI, and again, about the clean energy commitment?
First of all, I think that Indonesia contribute to the Asian Silk Road.
Yeah.
You mentioned about the spice
Yeah.
road. there are many countries call this not just a Silk Road, but also spice.
Yes.
For Europe, it's very important of spice. I worked in Brussels for 3 years, Chinese Ministry of the European Union.
Okay.
The Europeans to not just spice is not just a test.
Okay.
Because they eat, some people say when the Chinese people built the Great Wall, they live in the canals, in the mountains. So they need to, most importantly, the Cape do not have no frigid, to keep the food during the winter. So spice is actually to keep the meat.
Yeah.
It's very important for the Europeans.
To preserve the meat so it can last for a long time,
yes,
right? Yeah.
And most importantly, that today BRI is in the name of the Silk Road.
Okay.
But it's about modernization, about globalization.
Yeah.
It want to change the previous globalization, so-called Washington Consensus, which just make a bubble. So now the BRI is about of the people, by the people, and for the people.
Okay.
That kind of globalization.
Okay.
Even not to make a profits in the short term, like the whoosh, but it benefit the people in the long term. We do this. And then most of the people need it. It's industrial. It's modernization, it's urbanization, not to make a bubble, to buy the rarest or the stock exchange. No, we don't have money.
Not for short term.
Yes, it's look long term.
Okay.
So that's the reason. So this trend, as I mentioned, 80 years, especially recent rise, joint venture. So guarantee China and Indonesia friendship at least 8 years, 80 years.
Yeah.
So this is a long-term stable relations, and then attract more China investment.
Okay.
So this trend will declared of the commercial running. When your president Joko visited Beijing and attended the third BRI forum, jointly with President Xi Jinping, declare running this train now. Well, sell the tickets. So far, yesterday we test it's free.
Okay. Is that the ticket that you used yesterday for the train ride?
But this is test, it's free.
Okay.
So now, this week, we'll begin sell the tickets. Okay.
Then I need to get those tickets then. I need to buy them. Yeah.
Okay. You deserve to buy the test. And for 1 year, test running.
Okay.
If running well, safety is smooth and the logistics, also legal. Many soft infrastructure and the customs or this, and then everybody can help this training running better, right?
Okay.
And then 1 year later, maybe people think about extending to your second largest city, Surabaya. It's not just about the tourist. It's about mobility, field mobility, and it's about bridging the gaps between Jakarta and Bangkok and the Sulawesi and other regions. So joint prosperity, the industrial park, economic zone. And then we have, I think, second after the Malaysia and China, 2 countries, 2 industrial park, economic zone. Now Indonesia, you have also worked with Fujian province. This is the hub of the maritime Silk Road. And then Indonesia is a global maritime hub. So they connected the 2 economic zone, industrial parks. They work together. In the future, I think maybe it's a Luban workshop.
Okay.
Because you need to train the local people, right? Engineering, and then,
to
one
maintain
Chinese,
the facilities.
4 local people.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Right.
But it takes time to manage this technology because it's a high technology, high-speed railway. So also the local people be educated, be the professional engineering, and then they have the expertise. That's very important. And then education exchange, of course. Now we have Indonesia studies or the ASEAN centers in Tsinghua University, in many universities, and then more mutually recognized with the diploma. Education is very important, scholarships, and then cultural exchange. And most importantly, digitalization is our future. For instance, digital ocean. Digital ocean, what does this mean? The land, because of the sustainable development constraint, more and more resources. Well, people's eyes on the maritime. Under the water, people knows about the knowledge about the 71% of all the planet is covered by the ocean, right? Very limited. People know more about the sky, about the heaven than the ocean. So that's the future.
All right.
So we jointly have, for instance, if the water deep up, and then South China Sea is like the museum. As I said, many ships sank in the Tang Dynasty, Song dynasties, many. So jointly we can discover our ancestors, innovation, and our histories. Yes, it's jointly. And also for some people even said tourists under the water. Now it's so all this, the maritime, digital, and the green, I think that's the future of our collaboration. And the industrial park, economic zone, cultural exchange, innovation, and particularly for the cultural innovation, because you are very young, dynamic people with very creative thinking.
Yeah.
We eager to learn.
Okay.
Next time, I hope I can be interviewed in Surabaya.
Surabaya. Yes. For the last question on our conversation, I would love to get your opinion about the future prospect of the Belt and Road Initiative, especially how Indonesia and China can both benefit from future developments that can happen here in Indonesia with everything that is happening right now in 2023. What do you think can be reached in 5 years, 10 years, or even longer than that?
Okay. Firstly, start from one laboratory or one test and then promote in other areas and regions.
Okay.
Like the Wush high-speed railway, because it's the first high-speed railway outside of China projects under the BRI. So if running successfully 1 year, not just extend to Surabaya, but also other regions, other ASEAN countries as well. They all need to be mutually connected.
Okay.
So we can also imagine this trend will be take the not just trend of WUSH, but the Indonesia economy WUSH also, and then extend to other areas, and then industrialization, urbanization, agricultural modernization. For instance, also like the traditional Chinese medicine.
Okay.
Now want to maybe cooperate with Indonesia. I visit the Philippines also talk about that.
Okay.
In the future, maybe we can get the raw materials from under the water in the sea, which is can be work for the medicine.
Okay.
All
right.
Particularly for the ladies, beautiful lady, keep your skin, more healthy, bright, Yes.
Okay.
Now people more and more focus on maritime cooperation.
Okay.
So we learn and discover. This is the 21st century. Now, century years ago, this is Western colonialization through the sea. But this is the 21st century. This, we say, the spirit of the Silk Road. That's peaceful, inclusiveness, and win-win result to contribute to the global community of shared future.
Okay, Professor Wang, thank you so much for ending our conversation in such an optimistic note. We learned a lot from you. Thank you for shedding light into the dynamics and complexities of the relations between our countries. Thank you for your candid stories and also your infectious energy. We love having you, and hopefully we can see each other again, preferably in Surabaya next time, so we can enjoy another bustling metropolis of Indonesia. Professor Wang, thank you so much for your time and insights.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us for this very special edition of Special Dialogue. For more insightful interviews, stay tuned to future episodes of Special Dialogue only on TVRI World. Thank you for watching.